Welcome to Italy, where we're testing the highly anticipated Peugeot 3008. This is of course the MPV that's morphed into a much more desirable SUV. And I think if you look at the aesthetics on the exterior, that's certainly how you'd describe it, desirable. It is a handsome machine. I think the proportions are just spot on with this car. It's got some quite broad shoulders, it's got a relatively long bonnet for an SUV, it has a premium but sporting stature, I'd say. This is a top specification GT model, so it has all of the bells and whistles, including these larger alloy wheels that fill the arches nicely. But beyond the overall silhouette of the car, it's the details, it's the LED lighting, it's the chromed grille that's quite wide that sits up front. It's the sharp creases on the body. And again, details are another reoccurring theme. As we move inside, this car has one of the nicest, if not the nicest, interior in its class. And I'm not just saying that because it's the latest model. This is the new design ethos from Peugeot, and it is very much style and quality orientated. I'm sat currently in the new what they call i-cockpit configuration. And that consists of, again, another small steering wheel like you find on a lot of Peugeots these days, but also this large digital display ahead of me. It's totally customizable and it's not too dissimilar to what you'd find in an Audi. And it has so many customization configurations that you can have that you can tailor it to exactly what you want to see. It's all 3D and animated, and it's very impressive actually. One of the first things that you'll notice when you sit in the car is that the occupants are quite divided by this large center console. You feel like you've got your own little piece of space in the car, which is quite nice. And the large console then sweeps upwards into some nice brushed aluminium features. These little toggle switches are excellent. They serve as a little shortcut into this new 8-inch infotainment screen. Really nice colour choices and materials through the car, brushed aluminium, this sort of faux wood effect. It looks really nice. It feels very grown up and civilised in here. The seats of this GT model were sort of this quilted leather, and they're very, very comfortable. They're heated and they're just quite supportive. They're not over bolstered, but they're the sort of seats that you could probably do quite a distance in and not feel uncomfortable. Moving into the rear, you won't be short on comfort there either, as there's plenty of head and leg room for the outermost occupants. Though, as I said when we first previewed this car in Paris, there is a central module that sticks out with air conditioning units, and it does restrict legroom for the rear passenger. That said, the rear passenger does have a nice flat floor, so at least they have somewhere to put their feet. The car has a pretty large boot at 591 litres and can actually be optioned with a tray that slides out that brings the luggage towards you.
You can also option one of these funky electric scooters to go into the boot.
Under the bonnet of this all-new Peugeot 3008 SUV, you'll find a 2-litre diesel engine, 181 horsepower, and it produces quite a nice chunky 400 newton meters of torque, which means that whenever you put your foot down, off it goes. There's a nice surge of torque that carries you off into the distance. It makes good, strong overtaking manoeuvres too. Up here in the Italian mountains, where the road twists and turns like a piece of spaghetti, the 3008 acquits itself very well indeed, I have to say. There's loads of grip, and that's really reassuring, particularly when the roads become quite challenging. The steering's actually really precise, and this small steering wheel makes the car feel quite agile. It responds quickly to inputs. Obviously, out here on smooth European roads, it's always difficult to tell what the ride is like. We'll have to see back for our full UK review about that, but so far the road imperfections we have come across, it's soaked them up rather well. Taking care of swapping cogs is this 6-speed automatic transmission, and I have to say, it's almost seamless. The transitions are barely noticeable, and in manual mode it's quite responsive. Something that Peugeot have really focused on for this car is the refinement levels, and once up to speed, the car is almost silent. There's very little in the way of road or wind noise, and the engine is merely a spectre at the feast. You'd hardly know it was running. It's very smooth and a very relaxing car to drive on motorways. Yes, that diesel engine can be a bit grumbly at lower speeds, but once you get up to pace, it's as quiet as you like. I'm very impressed with that. Visibility, generally speaking, is pretty good. There's A-pillars here that aren't too intrusive, but I will say that the rear window is a bit of a pillar box and you can't see too much out of it. The new Peugeot 3008 is not only good looking, but it's good in its function. It's ergonomic, it's stylish, it's chic, it's everything you want a French SUV to be. But better than just being good for a French SUV, I genuinely think we could be looking at a new king of the hill in terms of the SUV. This 2-litre BlueHDi model in GT spec is said to be capable of 58 mpg on the combined cycle and emit 124 grams per kilometre of CO2. You can have a Peugeot 3008 from £21,795 and the car goes on sale in the UK in December.
Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe for all of the latest and greatest cars to hit the road. For breaking news and written reviews, visit www.insidelane.co.uk.